Thank you all participants in this webinar. Good morning and good afternoon, depending on the time zone where you are. This is the African Natural Capital Accounting Committee of Practice, the July webinar session to share Ethiopia's experience on living in harmony with nature and lessons from Ethiopia's experience on nature-based solution and the Green Legacy Initiative. We will have two presentations focusing on the two topics, and also we have a representative from the government of Ethiopia, from the Environment, Forest and Climate Change Commission. We will have a welcoming remark from Ms. Kababorg. So then we will continue to the first presentation. So let me give the floor to Kababorg to say a few words and a welcoming remark to all participants. Kababorg, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Tide. Thank you, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are. We are living with the current reality of COVID-19 by going virtual in most of our meetings. I know we all are missing the social part, such meetings like exchanging ideas during health break, knowing each other as well as developing contacts. However, going virtual has its own advantage through decreasing our carbon footprint and avoiding flights as well as land transport. Ladies and gentlemen, Ethiopia aims to build a green economy and to follow a climate-resilient green growth path that fosters sustainable development. Through the development of its climate-resilient green economy strategy that is based on carbon neutral growth, it is envisioned attaining a middle income status by 2025. Natural capital forms the formation for economic development and sustainable prosperity. Natural capital accounts for about 40% of Ethiopia's total wealth. Thus, a better understanding of the state of natural capital and follows a benefit it provides it vital to ensure sustainable development and equitable growth. Therefore, these webinars will provide an overview of living in harmony with nature by taking Ethiopian experience, discussion, socio-economic and ecological benefits, challenges and opportunities associated with the planning, implementing and reporting of the Green Legacy Initiative. I wish you all very nice time to share your experience on the topic and hope you may ideas will surface out during this deliberation. I thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Kababorg. A very nice welcoming remark and encouraging us to share our experience and expertise in this field for the benefit of all of us. So we move to the first presentation. It was supposed to be presented by the Dr. Melissa Mario. Is a general director for the Ethiopian Biodiversity Institute. Unfortunately, he traveled to Italy and for the biodiversity conference, and he is on travel from one city to another city with this time, but his presentation will be managed by his colleague Tariku. He is an associate researcher and also a GIS specialist and a biodiversity expert, and also he's a researcher at the Ethiopian Biodiversity Institute. So the first presentation on nature-based solution to global challenge and the case of Ethiopia's experience will be presented by Tariku. So Tariku, it's over to you, and you are allowed to have maximum 20 minutes. And then when you left 5 minutes, I will give you a highlight that 5 minutes is remaining. So the floor is to you, Tariku. Yeah, please proceed.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. As Dr. David introduced me, I am Tariku from Ethiopian Biodiversity Institute, and I presented this experience sharing behalf of Dr. Meles Mario. My presentation content is it has around 9 pointers, start from introduction and end up with the way forward. As an introduction, Ethiopia is rich in biodiversity resources, and Ethiopia is a center of origin of diversity for many biodiversity resources, as well as Ethiopia is hosting the Eastern Afro-Montana and Horn of Africa biodiversity hotspot of the globe. As you know, in the globe there are 64 biodiversity hotspots around the globe. So Ethiopia is hosting these two biodiversity hotspots. Some of the reason having this rich biodiversity of the country, because Ethiopia has it's a wide altitudinal ranges. It starts from 116 below sea level. I think the lowest sea level, below sea level in the world, and it's ranged up to 4,620 meters above sea levels. Look, this is a very wide, large altitudinal gradients. Helps to have the country have diverse agroecology areas, and this is because of Ethiopia has different temperature, rainfall, precipitation. These contributors for the prevalence of the different biodiversity, as well as Ethiopia has diverse cultural diversity. We have more than 18 ethnic groups in Ethiopia, so we have different cultural diversity. This contributes for the presence of the different biodiversity because of their different farming practice and the management of biodiversity. I'm going to the next slide.
Tariku, we can only see the first page.
Yeah. I'm running the next slide, but it's fixed. It doesn't go. Is there some mechanism?
So maybe you can stop sharing, then let me try to share it from my end.
All right, thank you, Dave.
So, can you see it now?
Yeah. It's full slide.
Yes.
Yeah. Slide. This next slide. Yeah. Wow. Slide number 2. Slide number 2. The next slide. One slide. Yeah. So, in general, Ethiopian Biodiversity Institute is the mandated institute for the conservation, wise and sustainable use of fair and equitable benefit sharing of this rich biodiversity. These 3 pillars are the principle of biodiversity, according to the CBD. Our biodiversity should be conserved, and we have to use wisely and sustainably, as well as this should be fair and equitable benefit sharing of to the community, the local community, the public and the wider community as well. And Ethiopia is a member of the ministerial meeting of likely-minded mega-diverse country groups. There are around 20 like-minded countries who have very rich biodiversity, and Ethiopia will give for the to be one of the mega diversity countries of the world. Having this diverse biodiversity resources, there are different benefits of biodiversity. So we can categorize this use into direct use and indirect use. As it's commonly, the direct use is the conceptive part, and the food from 70% of the food comes. 70% of the plants biodiversity contribute for the food as well as the fodder, and we can also benefit the fuel, fiber, and the medicinal use as well. And in other developing countries, like 70, sorry, jump this first one. Greater than 70% of the foods, greater than 70% of the people in developing countries use plants as primary source of medicine, the natural compound, and as well as the dual source considered as to be the direct benefit. Others are the indirect values range from the climate regulation, soil management, recycling, ecotourism, research, and recreation is considered as indirect benefit of the biodiversity. Next slide, please. And having said this, although we have different diverse of biodiversity resources, currently there are key development challenges of the country that's directly or indirectly contributing for the loss of or the degradation of these biodiversity resources. Among them, the extreme or the persistent poverty, climate change, overexploitation of natural resources, biodiversity loss, genetic erosions, and as well as the salination of fertility lands, the flood droughts. These are the among the different challenges of the country that's directly contributing to the loss of our biodiversity resources. And the cumulative effect of this is it is close to unbalanced ecosystem consequences. Next slide, please. Next slide, Claire. Hello, Dr. Diet. Dr. Diet. Next slide, please, Dr. Diet.
Is it possible, sir, for you to continue to speak while Dawit fixes the presentation? Because I think it has just dropped. Please continue.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, as I said, these are the general development challenges that it's affected our biodiversity losses, and then this will in turn affect the unbalanced ecosystem services. And if we look at the different the cause of loss of our biodiversity is it's loss of because of the forest degradation, deforestation, and illegal encroachment of the forest, and the illegal poaching of our wild animals. And these are the one of the typical problem that's affected our loss of biodiversity resources. Although these are the problems, so in Ethiopia to solve or to mitigate this diversity, this cause of loss of our biodiversity, we have different good practices to mitigate this problem. Among them, we have, in the case of forests, we have participatory forest management scheme. And in the case of our crop, we have the community-based seed bank management, and the other different schemes like participatory watershed management, and the other community-based activities that contributes for reduction of this biodiversity losses. Right now, I think the slide has become all right. So as I said, the climate variability and the change, including rising temperature and the increasing rainfall variability, challenging of the country effort to arise a vision of inclusion of prosperity. This all has negative impacts in different sectors of biodiversity, such as the agricultural sectors in terms of production and productivity of the country, the agriculture system. This influencing lives of many people in dry and semi-arid areas, especially in Ethiopia, where the water stress is highly pronounced there, and as well as in some highlands part of the Ethiopia, where highly populous area. And it's also affecting our domestic and wild biodiversity. In general, our ecosystem service. As I said, the main driver of biodiversity and ecosystem service loss is habitat conversion. In habitat conversion, there is change of land cover change. So most of our natural ecosystems changes into other land use because of the expansion of urban settlements, illegal settlements, and farming of an area that is not allowable to plow an area greater than 30%. It should not be plowed in Ethiopia land use policy. The other direct exploitation of the wildlife, that is unsustainable use of wildlife. For example, if there are elephant killings in different parts of our country, parks like Mago National Park is affected by illegal encroachment of the elephants. As I said, the climate change, the frost, the flood is affected our ecosystem, as well as all the whole biodiversity-based intervention. The floods and the droughts have increased in the past 15 years. And the other one is the pollution. That means air, water, soil pollution. And because of this, the mishandled solid waste is one of the challenges that affected our aquatic ecosystem. And the other one is the invasive alien species. Since 1918, the invasive alien species is affected increased by 40% due increasing trade in the human population dynamic and trace. For example, the Prosopis genoferus species is affected our northern part of Ethiopia, particularly in the Afar. Now, currently it's expanded to other parts of Ethiopia. And the Partenian invasive alien species affected our natural ecosystem, typically we call it Lake Tana, that is the World Biosphere Reserves. Lake Tana is the original source of our Blue Nile, our river, that is the main river that our Renaissance dam is constructed based on this river. So the Partenium, as I mentioned, infestation weeds that affected our environment. So typically in the southeastern part of Ethiopia, especially in the Guinea district, this is affected our coastal. And then this is the problem. So to anticipate the solution that the challenges for this all is, so party to the CBD took solution how we can cope up with this problem as an example. So Ethiopia just adopted different CBD good practice or CBD guidelines followed by the strategic plan for biodiversity that has been implemented from 2011 to 2020, and it is based on the eco-biodiversity targets, aiming taking effect of urgent action towards the loss of biodiversity. That means to ensure that by 2020 ecosystems are resilient and continue to provide essential services. Although we have these strategic issues and we have exercised to implement this, the targets, when we have already finalized this action, strategic action plan and reported to the CBD as the sixth national report of the implementation of the strategic document. The outcomes indicate that none of the 20 eco-biodiversity targets have not fully met, although some of the specific elements within these targets have been achieved. And this triggers us to, so we have to think in another dimension, that's an innovative way of thinking how we can practically implement it, our target that put on a paper. So currently, the globe aspires to ensuring the vision that's called living in harmony with nature by 2015. Within this framework, now Ethiopia is just looking to follow this approach, living in harmony with nature. However, experiences show us that the Millennium Development Goals and the National Biodiversity Strategy Action Plan that has been implemented for the last 5 years, both were not fully achieved as they were hoped. And sadly, the current progress towards realizing the SDGs of the 2013 indicated the need for more efforts. That is the question, how it will be made possible to achieve living in harmony with nature. Therefore, it requires to think that it's a kind of theory of change, or we have to think about it. A transformational change is demanded. These experiences, it showed us we have to think as transformational change. Transformational change is more about who should change, not what should be changed, because, as I said, the approach we have followed, who should change it, it is not as such more effective to halt our loss of biodiversity, the ecosystem services, and maintaining our the well-being of our livelihood of the community. To achieve this objective, the CBD, the Convention of Biodiversity, and the Paris Agreement, and the other multilateral agreement of the SDG is considered to think about an innovative approach post-2020 global biodiversity framework that is started from 2021. Therefore, we need to design a concrete action, goals, targets, and pathways for the globe that is for post-2020 biodiversity framework. So this post-2020 biodiversity framework, it is already, the draft is already produced. Therefore, within this framework, Ethiopia should design its strategic plan to adopt living in harmony with nature. Therefore, the transformational change in post-2020 global biodiversity within the framework, with the view of post-2020 global biodiversity framework, that means in Rome, and Africa proposed a concept called a nature-based solution. That's abbreviated as NBASE. The nature-based solution is first coined by the IUCN, the International Union for Conservation Nature, and now the globe has started to just adopting exercise. They have started exercising to adopt this nature-based solution. That means it helps to climate change mitigation, adaptation, and the disaster risk reduction. I'll come to detail what is the concept of this nature-based solution. This, why we try to incorporate it or follow this nature-based solution is
Tariku,
yeah.
You left 5 minutes, and
all right. All right, regulation of air quality. But the nature-based solution is one of the key of the schemes. So as I said, nature-based solution is just an action to proper sustainable management of our biodiversity. And the nature-based solution, the main goal of nature-based solution is the enhancement of sustainable urbanization and restoration of degraded ecosystems till it helps to improve the risk management of the resilience. So it will be presenting COP15 of ecological in China. Nature-based solutions have involved 3 principles, as I said: preserving, sustainable management, and restoring of the degraded ecosystem. This nature-based solution can be classified, as you can see in the slide, it has into this classification system, and the nature-based solution, to adopt this nature-based solution, we have domestic-based policy, and we follow the international, the Paris agreements. It is like the Green Legacy Initiative that we presented in detail the next presentation, and it's including the Ethiopian, and it's the national determined action. Ethiopian experience of the nature-based solution is implementation of climate resilient green economy is considered as a nature-based solution. So we have a good practice in agriculture, forest, and the power sector. Ethiopian experience regarding this sector, we have Ethiopian experience in different sectors. For example, the landscape restoration is one means of that is exercised by Ethiopia. That is followed nature-based solution. We follow the landscape approach to balance the problem of our biodiversity loss to maintain with the nature-based solution. We have good practice like local communities, the university and CBOs, they have exercised the nature-based solution approach. And when it comes to the crop biodiversity, we have a community-based gene bank management. So as you can see in the slide, the community are involved to select the land-based variety who can tolerate the climate change issues. As you can see, the other experience is agroforestry system. So we have the typical example or a good practice agroforestry system called the agroforestry system is follows the nature-based solution. And the Ethiopian commitment to implement the nature-based solution is to determine the impact of climate change. And Professor Ricardo is Excellency Professor Ricardo, head of the commission. Ethiopian experience that is it's already included in its national determined action plan, the nature-based solution concept. And the sustainable land management effort also is another concept. So this nature-based solution is to give solution, nature gives solution for nature, the nature-based problem. The other example is community-based conservation. We have a participatory forest management, good practices. So these are very effective to use nature as a solution for loss of our biodiversity. This is the Green Legacy Initiative. So it will be presented more in the next presentation. The other one is urban greening. So we have started urban greening in the capital city of Ethiopia. That's Addis Ababa. It's also capital city of Africa. As a way forward, this nature-based solution focus the protection and restoration of wide range of natural ecosystem, and the nature-based solution has to be focused on native species, and the nature-based solution should be considered as a policy framework and finance of the awareness. So this is what I want to what I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tariku. And I think now the floor is open for 10 minutes discussion. So we will have a two platform. I can see some questions and suggestions in the comment box. First, let's see any reflection from the participants. Nga, can you see who is raising hand or not? Sorry.
No, David, I don't see any hands. I don't know if you can just go straight to what's in the comments.
Yes. Yeah, I can see in the comments that there is some interest to work with the Ethiopian team and colleagues to strengthen partnership for the COP15 and COP26. And There is also a comment on the challenges that the globe is stuck with investing new terminologies. The terms will not bring change. It is our actions. So maybe Tariku can reflect on that. We need an action. That is a suggestion. There is also there is CSA, NBA's agroecology. Someone should document and coordinate it first so that we promote synergy. This is a comment. So when new terminologies are emerging, we have to. So one of the questions is how air quality is was achieved with the huge industries working at the same time, and then which strategy was used to maintain disaster in various sectors as a nature-based solution. So these are the questions. So Tariku, you can reflect on that, especially the air quality.
Okay, thank you very much, David. So let me start from the last question. Look, this nature-based solution, of course, that it looks to just adding different terminology doesn't bring solution. This nature-based solution is just, it is a complementary with the ecosystem-based approach that is already coined by the CBD and almost all the signatory parties, they are exercising the ecosystem-based solution for the biodiversity conservation, as well as getting the ecosystem services that use for the well-being of our community. So regarding with the air quality, nature-based, for example, if you look at for our agricultural practices, we use the inorganic fertilizers to increase our productivity. So using the urea fertilizer, it will incur to lose the ammonia, the nitrates from nitrates will be released in the atmospheric air, and it pollutes our air. That is one of the green global gases. So rather than using this inorganic fertilizer, we have experience using this organic fertilizer. We call it compost. So the local community use this compost. So it reduces the release of this nitrate gas to the atmosphere. This is what we call it nature-based solution. The other one is we can use different our natural soil engineers. We can use the microbes. For example, Ethiopian Biodiversity Institute researchers, they identified more than 5 or 6 species of bacteria that can replace the use of this inorganic fertilizer. So there is no release of any nitrate from use of this fertilizer. This is one of typical example. So that is the nature. Microorganism is nature. So the problem is pollution of our environment. So we wanted to get more food from nature. So the nature should give solution for the problem. That's why we call it nature-based solution. So to achieving this the air quality pollution. So for example, in Ethiopia, now we are geared to agricultural industrialization. So our economy is largely depend on agriculture. Unless we transform it to the industry, so we will not come up with the competition of the 21st century, and it will not be feed our community. Rather than, so for example, we have different agriculture lead industry. For the energy source of this, most of it is hydropower. So this is one of the nature-based solutions rather than using others energy source like using coal. So this is what I wanted to say, how we can integrate this nature-based solution into our different national strategy, and this good practice can be taken as scale up to the other developing nation or other developed nation who can aim to adopt this nature-based solution. All these are included in our climate resilient green economy strategy. Now, the the adaptation and the mitigation strategies already designed, and the national determined contribution of the countries already submitted to the United Nations Framework Convention based on this nature-based solution. So our good experience is tell us to continue strengthening of this nature-based solution. This is what I want to say. And based on to reflect on the comments, yes, it is. We are very happy to collaborate with our stakeholders or our partner work together with us. So we are very happy. So we can communicate after this webinar through email, and we are very, very happy to work with you. And we need to also synergize this ecosystem-based approach, nature-based solution, participatory forest management, integrated water-based management. These all are synonym concepts. So yeah, it's good to synergize this whole idea and bring the idea into action. This is what I want to reflect. So thank you.
Thank you, Tariku. Our second presenter also, he's in Mauritius on the negotiation meeting representing Ethiopia for the GG11 countries. He promised, but still he could not able to join us because of the time difference, and he informed us the meeting start very late and still he's in a meeting room. I don't know what we can do. Maybe for the housekeeping, Peter, can you say something?
David, thank you, and I think thank you, Mr. Tariku, for that presentation. This is Ngao. I just wanted to maybe again, I don't know if we're going to close off for the discussion from the last presentation while we wait for the next presentation. If participants still have any questions or any specific thing they would like to point to the presentation, please do share that either on chat or you can raise your hand and you come in.
Thank you, Ngao. There's a question from Rebecca L. Ndoa. It says, good afternoon or good morning. My name is Rebecca Ndoa from Zambia. For Zambia, we are losing a lot of biodiversity to cater for the demand for energy, especially in urban areas, which largely depend on charcoal. Efforts are being made to strengthen hydropower and solar energy by stimulating partnerships with the private sector, but the supply is not adequate and the cost is high, leading to increased demand for charcoal. How is Ethiopia managing the demand for energy without seriously affecting biodiversity?
Thank you, Leona. Mr. Tariku, any experiences from Ethiopia on that, a reflection on that question from Zambia?
Yes, let me reflect as a person from Ethiopia. Yeah, we do share the same challenge like Zambia, because more than 85% of the people are using fuel wood as a source of energy, and also there is a challenge on meeting the energy demand in the household level. So the same challenge we share, what Rebecca said. Yes, Ethiopia is also putting much effort to shift from non-renewable energy to renewable energy sources. And also one of them, the main source of energy for Ethiopia is hydropower. So we're trying to build such dams to meet some of the energy demand. And also in terms of biodiversity, there are many protected areas in Ethiopia. So the national parks and the protected areas are under the rule, the legislation or the rule to be designated as a protected area to keep biodiversity is to maintain the biodiversity and to address some of the challenge that comes from the energy demand. And there is also a pocket of activities in area closure, not to have open grazing activities, and also there is also some activities plantation area, especially for forest reforestation and recovering of degraded land areas, applying of forest and landscape restoration activities that will give some chances to minimize the effect on biodiversity. I think Tariku can say on this because he's the one, especially on the protected areas related aspect to maintain biodiversity.
Thank you, David. Maybe let me just take a few moments also just to introduce myself to the team and to the participants. Again, welcome to this webinar, and thank you for joining us. So my name is Ngao Mbanga. I'm based in Zambia, and I'm the co-task team leader from the World Bank, leading the COP Secretariat, as the World Bank are the ones leading the Secretariat for the Africa COP. I work with Peter, David, and Leona on the team, as well as our task team lead, Mimi, also joined on the call. Since we are still trying to fit in a little bit of a delay from our second presenter, let me just share a few remarks in terms of how much we want to always draw on such webinars as points of experience. As questions are coming in, one of those questions coming in from Zambia shows that within Africa, we do have similarities in terms of what challenges we're facing and how best we can implement nature-based solutions. And therefore, such webinars and also the importance of having the Africa COP is really something that we should all draw on for experiences, but also to ensure that it provides us an opportunity to define ways in which solutions that we can identify solutions that can boost the economy as well as deliver positive environmental outcomes simultaneously. Also, as a point of recovery from pandemics such as the COVID-19, looking at nature-based solutions. I think, David, you explicitly provided solutions in terms of what Ethiopia is doing, given the challenges from Zambia. Mr. Tarika, is there any additions that you can give, given your vested work experience in that?
He's not just, but he sent us that email. You saw it in the email. He is still in the negotiation meeting. But as a soldier and as a person from Ethiopia, let me take the opportunity and then let me share my experience related to this Green Legacy Initiative using Adolfo's presentation, just to respect our participant and to give them some highlights. Yeah.
Please,
so
that's
yeah,
very helpful. Please go ahead.
yes, yeah. Let me do that. So, can you hear me? Yeah. This is the Green Legacy Initiative. This is an aspiration to respond for the socio-economic, ecological, and political vulnerability of the country and beyond. So you can see kids also participating on these events to aware them to do some planting activities during winter season. And this is the place where the announcement is done with the higher official, with the presence of the Prime Minister. The initiative comes at higher level. The main reason is we have a diverse vegetation, and Ethiopia also ranked 5th among the 25 in terms of species diversity, which was reflected by Tariko as well. And there is also some unique diversity and endemism in the country. So there are some animations and also regarding the Ethiopian vulnerability, Ethiopia generates about 16 billion US dollar per year, and also it contributes around 12 or 13% of the GDP. And also estimated about 57 million economically active rural population engaged in full-time or part-time in the collection of forest, one or more forest products. So you can see those numbers regarding the economic contributions. In terms of income, 35% of the household income emanates from forest, 46% in cash, in terms of cash. So that indicates our social economic dependency on our forest resources. So having said that, there was a study that is done, identified around 54 million hectares of the Ethiopian landmass that needs some intervention because it is highly susceptible for degradation. So you can see 11 million hectares needs urgent, 18 million medium-term intervention, and 25 million hectares of the land area needs a long-term intervention. So those hotspot areas of degradation is identified with the collaboration with the WRI. And then you can see also the degradation map. You can see very severe land degradation. The country also loses annually 2 billion metric tons of fertile soil. So for that, we need to do some kind of intervention. In addition to the degradation, some of the hydro dams are highly susceptible because of the brownish color of the water sources, and also it requires some costs for removal of sediment from the dam area. So that is a need to do this green legacy initiative. So having said that, you can see how we do it is we are farming on the top hillside of the country, but how we need to done it is we have to cover the top or the higher, the upstream part of the landscape with forest, and then doing an agriculture practice in the down areas. But we are doing it on the rivers. So you can see some of the activities on the top. So this is a historical rainfall pattern in Ethiopia. You can see high variability. At the same time, also the GDP growth is also flowing. So I'm a bit, I'm not sure about these graphs indicates, but as a history, there's Green Legacy Initiative, it has an history of 500 years ago. There was an initiative, and then also in the 80s also they imported 3 species from abroad to plant it in the country. And currently also this activity, the Green Legacy Initiative, is done. It started in 2019 with planning 4 billion on 2020, around 5 billion on 2021, 6 plus 1 billion. But by the end of 2022, the country is to plant about 40 billion seedlings. So you can see some of the activities, and the higher officials are invited to do some planting exercises when they visit the offices. And also communities also engaged, that is a social interaction is created by this activity. In schools, in the backyard of the compounds, and you can see on the left corner, the Adolphus is the one who's wearing an Ethiopian t-shirt. He was the one he's the technical advisor and technical leader of this initiative, who was supposed to present this presentation, and the presentation is prepared by him. So you can see how culture and post-planting management also, it gives a lesson how we can manage our post-planting management also. So there are some more monitoring activities in the nursery sites. And also during the election time also, people are also invited after election to do some planting exercises, and also a matter of determination. People, after they plant it, they have to go and follow the growth and the pattern of the seedlings. So this is one of the farmers who is doing the activities as a demonstration, explanation to the farmers and the communities who are engaged there. It gives us this Green Legacy Initiative learn lesson and build a farmers initiative, like the small woredas. Also people also, they do their own initiative and they start planting. And also it gives a lesson to have a modern nursery sites and plants for the production of the seedlings at the early stage. And also the Green Legacy Initiative motivated restoration models, like how we can do it in terms of making people and their livelihood a center of practice to the ecosystem services. And also it gave us a lesson how we conduct monitoring and evaluation. And also it gives an opportunity to create a strong knowledge management system that is assigned to each site where the plantation is done. Motivated year-round tea planting practice. There is a launching day, there is a one-day planting day, and there is a seasonal planting day. Bulg is one of the season in Ethiopian. And also this initiative promoted grading of seedlings before planting. So how we can nurseries started, and also how we can do the practice in the field also. So this is what I said. There are some. This initiative will enhance the target that is set in a CDG, in the Paris Agreement, in the Bonn Challenge, in the New York Declaration. So. And also, the Green Initiative started by Wangari Maathai. She started it in Kenya. So it will give us also to share some of the practices that is done in Ethiopia. And then we took a share from Kenya's initiative, the Wangari Maathai, and then that can provide a Pan-Africanism initiative, or also that will support the Agenda 2063 of Africa. So, but there are challenges, the climate change, the demography-related issues, the finance issues, and also the technology and policy and institutional related issue in terms of managing this initiative with different sectors, and also the land tenure issue and the land use plan. More or less, usually this kind of initiative is done in the community land or in the government-owned lands, but people also doing it in their own backyards and farm areas. So we have to integrate all these activities to in line with the land tenure system of the country. Of course, still, even if we put some numbers in the years, there is a weak knowledge management system. So we need to have an MRV system to monitor how many plants, how many trees are planted, how many is growing, how many is decayed, and what should be done in the next period. So we need to have a strong MRV system. But there is an opportunity, even if there are challenges. So more or less, some of the points mentioned here are what the outlooks that is given. So this all regarding that was expected from the second presenter.
David, thank you so much.
Thank you, Dave, for presenting.
Sorry, Adafris is almost joining us. Adafris, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You done it very well, Dave.
No, I'm a soldier, so maybe if I miss something else, the leader is there, so it's better to hear from the horse mouth. So over to you. Maybe Ngoa, do you want to say something, or shall we give for Adafrus to say something? Thank you, Adafrus. Even if you are in a stretched schedule, you join us. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Kababe. Hello, Kababe. Can you listen to me, or can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you. Yeah. Adafrus, we can hear you well.
Yeah, sorry, I think I can speak now, yeah?
Yes, please.
Yeah, Dave, I am trying to listen to you, and you did it very well. And if there are some questions, standing question, I may try to respond to them. Otherwise, it's fine that you have communicated. I'm sorry to all the audience that I cannot make it because, you know, this is a kind of serious ministerial meeting. I'm been representing Ethiopian Environment, Forest and Climate Change Commissioner, so that I cannot leave the room. That is why. But the presentation, I am trying to listen to Dave. The presentation is well communicated. But if you still have some question, I will try to quickly respond to them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Adafrus, and let me stop sharing and let me give Leona or Ngao to lead if any question, and I will have a look on if there is some question in the chat. So the floor is open.
There's one question here from, there's no name, unfortunately, but the question is, I would like to ask what data sets does Ethiopia use for this? Is it SEA or WAVE's work in Ethiopia? If so, to what extent?
I can see what is the thinking behind in land acquisition in the Green Legacy Initiative. How responsibly the initiative would address the land and the plantations are willing. Can I read it Adafrus fully? Then you can get what is the thinking behind the land acquisition in the GLI, how responsibly the initiative addressing the land and plantation. I'm a bit have a challenge to read. The assessment is done to determine overall environment and social impact, and subsequently appropriate impact management plan is arranged. So this is one of the questions.
So if you can listen to me, if I am heard, that I also tried to present in that slides that the issue of land, the lack of land use planning and land use policy in a country is one of the serious challenges that have been affecting sustainable forest development and also landscape restoration in the country. This has been, of course, in a discussion since a long time that the government has recognized that Ethiopia needs to have a land use plan and land use policy. And also the land use plan and the policy draft was prepared by Environment, Forest and the Climate Change Commission, and it was put on the table of the Prime Minister's office, and we are hoping that it will be ratified or approved recently, soon after the election, because the promise last time when it was submitted is that the government will approve this land use policy after the elections that we had in last days. So, but so far, what the green legacy of Ethiopia is trying to do is that we understand that the issue of tenure system is a problem for increasing, seedling survival and also sustainable forest development. That what we are trying to do is that, we wanted to use effectively and efficiently local laws and bylaws which are already in use by the local communities and also local administrative in such a way that if the land belongs to somebody else, then we wanted to identify that person and the amount of land he wanted to put under forestry or under restoration. And also if the land belongs to a community, for instance, if it is a communal land, we wanted to identify the number of people who have been, eligible to utilize that parcel of land, the amount of land they wanted to put under Green Legacy Initiative, so on and so forth. So once we agreed and discussed with those local communities, and based on their acceptance and agreement that we wanted to promote, tree planting on that identified land, and also a land which have been, assigned to tree growing by the local communities and the local administration. That is the overall idea that we wanted to push, and also to strengthen, the issue of this tenure system or the parcel of land allocated for tree planting. We wanted to also, geo-reference that particular site so that it will be known by the local communities. This is a land for Green Legacy Initiative. So,
okay.
Challenges with that, then that is what really we are trying, Dave, to secure, the land.
Yeah, that is a question, and also any thinking to integrate with the green corridor connectivity concept. And also you all almost highlighted what is the definite monitoring and evaluation system to put in place to track the achievement and the failure. Almost you touched it. The first point is the land tenure issue. And regarding the connectivity with the concept. And there is another question from Banel. He said, which interceptive strategy is currently being used to salvage the deforestation challenge? That is Banel from Liberia.
Yeah, that is actually a very important question, Dave. I also try to highlight in one of the slides that the Green Legacy Initiative of Ethiopia is not only about, increasing the biomass or creating new forests in the landscape, but also it has promoted, conservation of existing small forests of the country. Because, this agenda of Green Legacy became the day-to-day agenda of the top leaders of the government, including the Prime Minister, because the Prime Minister is able to motivate, millions of people, by traveling, even long distance to plant trees, to talk to communities, why it is important to plant trees, so on and so forth. Many ministers, including, the Minister of Health, for instance, who are very far from, tree planting sector, but all, the top leader of the country have been engaging in mobilizing and sensitizing the local communities to plant new trees or to create new forests, but also to conserve existing, meager forests of the country. Those sort of, engagements by decision makers, by partners, and also, the continuous engagement of forestry and natural resource or environmental experts and also agencies, and sensitizing the local communities by telling them that how desertification and also landscape or natural resource degradation is harming the country. Those sorts of sensitization together have been able to, make, or enhance the determination of the farmers and also the local communities to conserve existing forests and also to dedicate more land to plant trees. And those sort of support or mobilization by the government, the communities, and also different stakeholders, I can say have been contributing to, conserve existing forest and also create new forests. Thank you.
Thanks. I think there is one question I would like to ask. What data set does Ethiopia use for this? Is there a system of environmental economic accounting or the wells accounting for valuation of ecosystem service work in Ethiopia? I think I will reflect for that. There is an initiative to do the system of environmental accounting and to make our system of national account to be a system of environmental economic accounting. So one of the sector which is identified is this sector, the forest sector and the water. So probably next year we will start to conduct somehow to account our water and then to account our forest resources in our system of national accounts. So that is my reflection, but Adolphus, you can say something regarding how we can link it with the system of national account.
Yeah, the commission, the Environment, Forest and Climate Change Commission, through the department I am working in this forest transformation, forest sector transformation unit, we submit agency of the country who is really, consolidating data on the natural capital of the country, and also to the Plan Commission to review that TOR. And once this TOR is going to be approved by them, that we are going to initiate a very big national, natural resource accounting on one hand, to renew and recompose what has been done during the last, during 2016. And also we have been in a negotiation with the Plan Commission to modify, the system of national accounting to, to consider or to fully capture the forest sector, capital or contribution, because we agreed with them and also with CSA that there is no enough data is collected on the forest sector of the country. And also there are, some areas to be improved to reflect or to capture and reflect the contribution of the forest sector. We have been doing with them. National committee has been established from the commission, so CSA and the Plan Commission, and also from the Ministry of Finance, and we have been working on that. It is good that maybe World Bank can also join, to support and institutionalize that effort. David.
Thank you very much. Ngao, Leona, anything else you want to add? I think.
No, David, thank you, and thank you, Adifas, for the responses to those questions. There is a hand, but I don't know if Mr.
Leona, he wrote, we cannot hear the sound, it is muted, but I don't know, I can't see him.
He's muted. Yeah, he's muted.
He's muted, yeah, he's muted.
Yes.
Said, can you hear us?
Maybe, yeah.
So Tariku?
Yeah, all right, thank you. Let me add some pointers from Zambian experience in it. As David said, I want to add some point on that. He said that already Ethiopia is its energy based on hydropower. The other one is Ethiopia has the country energy program. Under that, we used improved stove program. We have a huge improved stove program that reduced the consumption of charcoal. Since we are in tropical countries, we have a solar energy program, and we have also a biogas energy program. So especially the solar energy program is used for an area that is out of grid program. So these all are the energy program in our country that use the nature. The solar use the nature, the biogas use nature, and the improved stoves also somewhat related to nature-based solution. So this is the Ethiopian experience, how we can use the nature-based solution. And just by following the forest landscape restoration approach, that is the Afri 100, that African forest landscape restoration 100 million hectare under bone challenge. We already identified an area that can use for fuel wood plantation and the woodlots. This is what I can say the Ethiopian from Ethiopian side related to with the improving this energy source. We have the research institute in Ethiopia, the Ethiopian Biodiversity Research Institute, as well as the Ethiopian Environment, Forest, and the Ethiopian Environment and Forest Research Institutes are mandated to develop different research activities that can reduce the energy demands. These are in charge of under our commission. So this is what the Ethiopian experience to handle the energy issues. The other question that raised by Lursagar raised that the fact that none of the Ethiopian 2020 Aki biodiversity is not achieved is a big gap. I didn't say it's not actually, we didn't achieve the Aki 2020 biodiversity target, rather than some of them achieved, but some of them have not been achieved. This indicated that we need to think some novel approach to implement what we have designed. This is what I wanted to explain. The other question, how are institutions with diverse mandates they coordinated? In the case of nature-based solution, the country already have climate resilient green economy strategy. This is the strategy of the country. The other strategies, we have national biodiversity strategic plan document. This strategy, national strategy, is just coordinated by the National Development Plan Commission. So we have different ministerial committees to coordinate this one. So the National Development Plan Commission coordinated these all different ministries, but all the interventions, the development activity in the country should be viewed with the mirror of green economy strategy via the impact assessment tools and other tools that should maintain the our environment should not be affected, and especially the green economy strategy pillar is mainly focused on using nature to solve the nature problem. This is what I want to reflect. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Tariku. I think maybe Adolphus, can you say something about this? How are institutions with diverse mandate coordinating their sectoral strategies toward the successful implementation of nature-based approach? So how are the mainstreaming and the coordination?
That is Africa's biggest problem, David, and I don't want to really lie on that one. And, for sure, this is our major challenge, but I can tell you that, for instance, this is also where we have been testing our sectors in Ethiopia, if they are really be able to talk to each other, sit together, plan together, and implement a particular, agenda together. Then we confirmed that there will be a possibility for sectoral institutions in Ethiopia. For instance, the Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Water, Irrigation and Energy, Ministry, Commission of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Urban, and also other institutions have been working together as a steering committee and also technical committee together to plan, implement, and report the Green Legacy initiative of the country. It has been a challenge for us, to sit together, plan together, and implement it together, and also enjoy the results together. But the Green Legacy, I can say, one of the benefits that it has brought to this country is, despite still the standing challenge, but it has also helped us, to a little bit sit together among, the ministers. And also when the ministers sit together, their experts also sit together, that type of culture has, been, started in the country. And I can say that this will even take us to reconcile our policies, our strategies, which seems, kind of standing alone, and which seems, one of the strategy or policy is an enemy to the other sector's policy or strategy. So now Green Legacy is able to bring different institutions, different ministers together, and then based on this initiative, we are hoping that we are also going to plan, together, where at least we can intervene together, so that, because a particular institution cannot do, the whole nature-based solution, because nature-based solution by its nature need, the cooperation of different institutions, different actors. It needs a lot of investment, which cannot be, covered by a particular institution. So this, it has been giving us, a test, to prove ourselves, to test ourselves, and hope that work or cooperate together. We have been getting better in that I can say.
Okay, thank you, Adolphus. I think we're on the last 5 minutes of our session. So anything final burning issue from our participants? Leona, can you see her hand?
Please allow me to go.
Yeah, thank you very much, Adolphus. And Leona, can you say something for Adolphus, because he's leaving us?
Thank you, Dawit. I'm going to request Gao to just say a few remarks.
Yes, but Adolphus is leaving. Gao, you can. Adolphus, thank you very much. With this tight schedule, you join us, and we really appreciate your commitment. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Over to you.
For the inconvenience. Yeah.
No problem. No worries.
Actually, Dawit, I wanted to thank the Ethiopian team and for the commitment and for joining despite the other commitments that they're engaged in, and to just use this as an opportunity to say this really is an African initiative, and to see the commitment in exchanging information despite the other commitments that they have. So thank you, Adolphus, for joining, Mr. Tariku. Thank you, the Ethiopian team. Before I give the final remarks, I just wanted to say this, but we can have a few other things, and then I'll give my final remarks to the webinar. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Leona.
Thank you, Adolphus. You can go and join the negotiation again.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye. So, any final burning issue before we close up? I think I can't see any hands. So, Ngao, before I give for Kebabor for a final remark, would you please say something representing the Africa NCA Committee of Practice team? So, Ngao, it's over to you. Then I will give the floor for Kebabor.
Thank you, Dawit, and thank you for being a great moderator, despite the many the connectivity issues and everything that we've had. I think it's been a fruitful discussion and a fruitful knowledge sharing event. Let me recognize the Ethiopian team again and just say thank you for the commitment, and thank you for preparing this important webinar, which is very timely, really focusing on living in harmony with nature, something that we are to recognize as an agenda going forward. In addition, I would like to also just thank our partners, our institutional partners, who are and the countries that make the COP actually exist, with their various contribution in terms of providing the platform to discuss the policies as well as the national development plans related to natural resource, climate change, through the lens of implementing the natural capital tools across Africa. It's important to note that as Ethiopia was sharing their experiences as well as the lessons that we could learn from as other African countries, various countries across the African continent are on different stages of implementing natural capital account. And therefore, such webinars for experience sharing as well as lesson learning are very important. And so we really do employ all the participants joined here from various countries who have joined as part of the community, either as individuals, as countries, to share the knowledge that has been shared on this platform widely, to various stakeholders within the respective countries, it be government partners, private sector, civil society organization, the youth, as well as the academia, who may also join the African Natural Capital Account community of practice. We are committed to welcoming more members, and so such platforms are very useful so that we do share information and we see the value of having a pool of knowledge where we can draw from as respective countries. This is only sure way that we know that natural capital accounting will actually be used in influencing national development planning as well as policies. And so let me again thank you all the participants for joining this webinar, to our partners, and most importantly to the World Bank team also joined and leading the secretariat, and to the Ethiopian team. We can't say thank you enough for being a part of this important webinar. So over to you, Dawit. Thank you.
Thank you, Gao. I think I echo what Gao said. Thank you very much for all participants. Thank you, the presenters, even if you all are in a very tight and stretched schedule and you manage to present a very interesting topic and to share experiences. And I highly appreciate all participants, and also the Africa NCA COP Secretariat and my team. I really appreciate for this. So hopefully we will have also, after 2 months, another country experience, sharing the platform. So we will continue our collaboration and the sharing of the knowledge and experience and information regarding natural capital account. So thank you very much. So I will give floor to Kabawork, representing the government of Ethiopia, and also she is a focal person for Africa NCA from the Environment and Forest and Climate Change Commission, to say a final remark. So Kabawork, over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Dawit. First of all, I would like to ask apology for the second presenter late joining because of the overlapping schedule. Sorry for that. After saying that, I would like to thank you all for giving your time, valuable time and effort to this webinar. I hope you are learning a lot from through presentation and questions and answer session. We hope this series of webinars will continue to exchange ideas and sharing experiences. We know there are no perfect solutions in fighting the climate change globally. Therefore, such platform will have a paramount importance to contribute for knowledge sharing on natural capital, with all opportunities will have a particularly nature-based solution. So I thank you for your time again.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kababo. So I really appreciate all, and thank you very much. Thanks. Okay, bye.